Welcome to the driver's seat. We're in Gateway, Colorado, and the launch of the all-new 2019 Audi Q8. It joins a family of crossovers, the Q3, Q5, and Q7. You know, Audi was the last luxury brand from Europe to come to America with crossovers. The Q7 arrived in 2007 and the Q5 in 2009. So even though they were a full decade behind vehicles like the BMW X5 and Mercedes-Benz ML, they are now here to stay with their fourth crossover, and soon the Audi e-tron will be arriving to market, which will be their fifth crossover. Now, this vehicle is very interesting because it's going to set the tone for the rest of the crossover lineup, from the new front fascia, the new design language, the recessed headlights, and the interior is going to be very similar to what you've seen in the Audi A8, A7, A6, very high tech, very high touch. At launch, the Q8 will be available with only one engine option. It's a 3-liter turbocharged V6 engine, and it produces 335 horsepower, 369 pound-feet of torque, made it to an 8-speed Tiptronic automatic transmission that is lightning fast. All, of course, will have Quattro. There are 3 trim levels, starting with the Premium, Premium Plus, and Prestige. The Premium starts at $67,400. This Prestige, which is fully loaded that we've been driving, is right around $90,000. The Q8 is loaded with safety features, and soon you'll have the option of these laser high-tech headlights. There's some logistics with the government involved in that, but once that legislation goes through, you'll be able to get a software update and activate them. You know, out here it's about 25 degrees. It's pretty damn cold. So I'm gonna get inside where you have things like heated steering wheel, heated seats, massaging seats. It's going to be a better place to be. As expected, Audi has done a marvelous job with the interior. Again, this is exactly what you would find in the A8 as well as the A6 and A7. So it's now the 4th vehicle in Audi's lineup to receive this treatment, and expect that to trickle down into the next Q5, Q7, etc. And why not? It's, in my opinion, one of the best interiors in the industry. You have an interface that is second to none. 10-inch display on top and 8.5-inch on the bottom. Plus you have the virtual cockpit. You have a host of safety features. This vehicle is very comfortable to drive. It's very easy to drive, but it's somewhat of a performance vehicle, at least as far as crossovers go. It has a very sleek design, both on the exterior and interior. You know, Audi, to me, is one of the most aspirational brands on the market today. Talk to a lot of people. Yeah, they mention Tesla, they mention Porsche, but I guess as far as mainstream luxury, Audi has really nailed it. They've appealed to both men and women, and it's something for people in the kind of a lower market to aspire to. And if you're in another luxury brand, moving over to Audi is by no means a lateral step. It's usually a step up. So I think they've done a great job of packaging, of messaging, and overall the dealer treatment is second to none. But back to the Q8, this vehicle is engaging for what it is. Again, you're talking about a luxury, sporty crossover. They don't want to call it a crossover coupe. They want to call it just a sporty crossover, and I think they've achieved that. The roof line is very interesting. They went with a flatter roof line as opposed to this curvy roof line that Mercedes and BMW have gone with. The result is that you have much better headroom in the second row. Up front, ton of room, even with the panoramic sunroof, which you typically would lose some space. No problem at all. Plenty of space. Great visuals. Love the head-up display. Mentioned the virtual cockpit, and this interface is a lot like your smartphone. It lets you customize the icons, select your favorites. There are hundreds of configurations that you can play with to appeal to each individual driver. We've been on freeways, we've been on canyon roads like we're on right now, and one point looking down, we're doing 90, 95, and it feels like we're doing 55. You have the double pane glass, and overall just very quiet ride. Even at high speeds, this vehicle just feels so solid and planted. If I had to make a negative about this vehicle, is they could have made it a little bit more of an off-roader, or maybe at least have a sport version. That would be nice. A little better ground clearance. You know, we went slightly off-road to get a photo. We got stuck in some snow, had to be pulled out actually, and there's only about 7 inches of ground clearance. And that's okay, that's on par with the competition. But you know, Audi has this Quattro tradition, and they have one of the best all-wheel drive systems in the industry, if not the best. So you know, why not offer that, something with a little more ground clearance, a little more aggressive tread. We're riding on winter tires right now, and to their credit, they're not noisy, they have plenty of grip. These are not snow tires, but they're more like mud and snow all-season tires. You can get 22s with this vehicle, which is mind-boggling. But what's interesting is they did the 22s, but they still gave you enough sidewall so that you don't have that harsh ride. You have 2 different suspension options: the base suspension, and then you have the one that comes with the Prestige package, which is an upgrade, but not necessary. Both suspensions are very solid. The transmission is exactly what you'd expect. Very quick reacting. And this vehicle is fast. I mean, 5.5 seconds to 60 miles an hour. That's very impressive. If you truly were in the market for one of these, expect to spend about $75 for a Premium Plus. I don't know if you need the Prestige. Prestige is definitely nice if money's no object, but if you want one of these, you can get away with low to mid 70s. I believe Audi is ahead of the curve when it comes to safety, especially autonomous driving. We're getting closer and closer. This has the same technology that you'd find in the Audi A8, which was brilliant. The lane keep assist is one of the best I've seen in the industry, and it just has worked flawlessly on this trip. And of course you have Quattro all-wheel drive, which is legendary, and overall easy to recommend this vehicle. Audi's done a great job of keeping the center of gravity low and just keeping it very flat, even on sharp turns. You don't get a lot of body roll, which is definitely to their credit. At first sight, we thought the logical competitor to the Q8 would be the BMW X6 and Mercedes-Benz GLE Coupe, but actually we think it's more Panamera and Range Rover Sport. At least that's what Audi tells us. We'll see. For some people, a Q7 is just too big and a Q5 is just too small. They don't want the third row, so that kind of knocks out the Q7, and the Q5 is just not big enough. So this could fit quite nicely in between those two. Even though the number Q8 implies that it's bigger than a Q7, it's actually not. It only has 2 rows. It's got 7,700 pounds of towing, which is right up there with the best in the segment. So if you want to do that, if you want to just, step on the gas, you got 0 to 60 in 5.6 seconds. So it's quick, it's capable, and it's super attractive. Starting price, $67,000. As mentioned, as tested, $91,000. I'm Ron Doran. Thanks for watching. See you next time on The Driver's Seat.